Here we are. Chaos, as always, at the beginning of Smoking in the Girls Room here on WEMF Radio. We've got some great topics today that we're going to be covering. Market basket. And, of course, there's a big break in this.
Hopefully.
As we played, in our recordings at the beginning of the show, apparently there is supposed to be a done deal coming up by the end of this weekend or Monday at the latest. We're going to be talking about that in just a moment. We are also going to be talking about human Barbies. What is that about?
Why?
Yeah, I know. But this is something that keeps coming back. It's really a big thing about real life anime and people going in and having surgeries to become less lifelike. So we'll be talking about that in a little bit. We also have finally on the schedule parvo. There's a parvo outbreak in Lowell, Mass, and it's bad. They lost a lot of dogs. Parvo is a very dangerous disease, and it seemed apparent from some of the research that I did that a lot of folks don't know about parvo, don't know how to prevent it, and don't know how to treat it if they suspect that their dogs are coming down with parvo symptoms. It is a deadly, fast-moving virus. So we will be talking about that. Right now, we're going to commence upon our discussion surrounding the latest breaking news with Market Basket, and we're going to go a quick roundabout here at the table. And our hosts today on Smoking in the Girls Room will introduce themselves. I'm Carmelita.
I'm Val Malta.
I'm Meredith Chambers.
Mike Ken.
Ellen Mosquito.
I feel like a traitor, as I said when I came in earlier. I have not been in Market Basket since the strike started 5 weeks ago.
Why would you call yourself a traitor for that? That's
I had to. I mean, I live in Tewksbury. There's no other. I know everybody's sick of hearing me whining about this.
We forgive you.
But I live in Tewksbury. There's no other store. I mean, we actually had a conversation about how used to the modern conveniences that we've gotten.
Sure.
So, now even driving 5 miles out of my way, it's like I'm whining about it. I know, first world problem. Sorry. I did talk to one of the cashiers who was a manager. It's all managers running the stores now. There's no part-time help, no older people, no kids. It's kind of sad. And he was saying that they had heard that the deal was imminent. I don't know if it's
done. It's done. I mean, they're basically saying it's like reported $1.2 billion. Artie T is in the stores today.
He had a venture capitalist came in and offered him $50 million, which was the stumbling block. I guess he was going to go to a bank and get financing, and that was a problem because Market Basket keeps their prices low due to the fact that they don't have any debt.
Mm-hmm. The Globe said that it was $500,000 he'll be financing from a private equity firm. So
$500 million.
I'm looking at $1.5 billion.
That's
his offer.
Yeah. That's his offer.
I mean, how much money do you have if you're the Darth Vader Arthur guy,
Arthur
S. Vader, to even turn because there was a bid made a while ago, like when this first started, and I'm sure it was probably roughly in the same numbers game. Like how much money do you have to turn that down and just not care that your stores are closing and your fire? Like how much
do you need?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, that's the problem. He didn't. Yeah, it's once you get that much money, it's not even about money. It's about proving a point.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, they were saying before the whole meltdown that happened, the valuation of the company was between $3 and $4 billion. So it's a lot of money.
127th largest private company in the country.
Which is amazing. Yeah. Who would have thought,
for
right?
a grocery store.
Which is just proof that you can have a business that takes care of the employees and that people are happy and be so profitable.
There's a great article in...
but there is a problem. I mean, when they say private, people need to understand what that means. Public versus private. Public is New York Stock Exchange,
right.
A lot of debt, a lot of owners. Things change when you get on that kind of scale. And it's a question of whether this corporation is going to be able to continue privately financed, not raise the prices, be able to still provide the employees with the same benefits.
Because now you have venture capitalists that are involved with the money. So.
Yeah, and this is what Artie T was fighting against. He didn't want them to debt up this company to change it like they do every other. It's all about debt financing and extracting that debt and getting big paychecks for the people who own it. And Artie T fought against that. So we'll see if he can continue with his vision on this. Hopefully he can. I'm very excited.
It's just crazy. You see how well that worked out for the mortgage industry. And so let's do it with this. Let's do it with a successful company. It frustrates me.
Yeah, no, it is frustrating, but hopefully it will go through and everybody will be back to work on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, somewhere in there.
Give us a call, 617-500-7100 if you are an employee or a customer.
So do you all think that you will go back to Market Basket immediately, or... Because I have a little bit of I can go somewhere else now. I have been for a month.
Yeah. I'll be there as soon as Artie T makes that announcement. Like, as soon as he says it's okay to shop, as soon as I can be there, I will be there. I'm so excited. Like, I can't wait.
Me too.
I'm just waiting.
I'm going to be like Rocky running into the Market Basket.
I probably hit them all. I'm probably going to hit like as many as I can.
I think their sales are going to triple once this is over.
Right. I hope so.
I mean, I think that they're going to get back on their feet pretty quickly.
I think so too. I definitely think so.
I hope so. Who knows how much damage has been done at this point? Does anybody know anything about that?
Well, they're close to closing stores. I mean, they're losing millions and millions of dollars every day. So, I mean, no company can sustain that, whether they're public or privately held, for very long. This has been 5 weeks.
It's unbelievable. This is unprecedented too. Like,
it is.
It's going to be a textbook on how to not react to an employee uprising. Like, this is what you don't do as a management team, is what the management team did for the last 5 weeks. It was just unbelievable what they did to their employees. Do
you believe that this is going to become something that reoccurs from this point on around the country? Well,
there's a great article in the LA Times, which I just posted on our Facebook page, and it's called "Why the Market Basket Saga Matters to All Americans." Mm-hmm. And it talks about the fact that, workers don't strike anymore. They don't stand up for their rights, and that customers just go along. It's a great article. I just posted it. It really is very, very flattering about the people in New England and the customers and the employees and how everybody has stood strong.
We are the home of the Tea Party.
Yes. We're very loyal.
I mean, well, the
Boston Tea Party.
Boston Tea Party. Let's not get that confused.
I mean, they close the article out by saying that the Market Basket saga is far more important than the fate of one ousted CEO. It's about the future of American capitalism.
I agree with that strongly. I think it's the model of what capitalism is supposed to be, that
everybody benefits.
Right, everybody benefits. And there's still, it's not, people are so afraid of the like socialism. It's like
the S word.
The S word.
That just means that everybody benefits. We don't have one class of people that have all the money, the 1%, and the rest of us that are becoming the working poor.
In the case of Market Basket, you had your hourly employees, you had your full-time employees, you had management, you had the board. There were definite, for lack of a better word, classes, a hierarchy. But even the people in the lowest rung of the ladder were still taken care of.
And they're successful.
Right.
Answer your question, your original. Do I think it will happen again?
Right.
I think it will be studied forever at Harvard and all these business schools, Stanford. Yeah. It doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, when there's an uprising like this, and it's based on employees top to bottom, they're going to study this case. And what not to do is what Thornton and Gooch did and Arthur S. It's going to be the opposite. It's going to be.
We've never even seen
so I don't think this will happen like this again, where the management team blows it so badly, because this will be the textbook of what not to do.
Right. I still think it's amazing. The part that amazes me the most is that even though our economy has come back some, it hasn't come back in full. And to have 25,000 employees literally give up their jobs for one person, that is stunning to me, because not many people can afford in this day to just give up their job. Especially, the lower level of people, which, of course, there's many of them. And that's a very big thing to do, and it shows a huge amment of loyalty and how much they believe in him.
It's unprecedented.
Yeah. And not just for a week. I mean, this went on for
this is 5 weeks.
Where after a while, we were all sick of talking about it. It was getting depressing. I mean, I could feel it covering this on this show, on our show before this, and, on your show. But it's nothing compared to the employees. I mean, I could feel it just myself. I can't imagine what they felt like.
I can't either.
No.
Feed scary. Families, it's big. It was very big. So I hope it all goes through for them.
Me too.
Yeah. Wow. Soon.
Are the employees still picketing?
Yes.
Is my next question.
We went by, Karma, when we went by the plant.
We did yesterday.
Yeah, we went by.
But I don't think the news had broken that the deal was pretty much.
There were news trucks all over the place. We drove by the Dascom Road headquarters in Tewksbury and laid on the horn. And
we did.
Yeah.
And then we were going to Val's house. We were coming back from the White Mountains. We went to Val's house. I grabbed my car and I drove back the other way, past them again, and honk. And there was this huge truck behind me. And And the truck was honking away too, so I don't even think anybody noticed me honking. Everybody was watching the truck.
But every news outlet was there.
Yeah.
It would look like some major giant story, but there were about 10 news trucks there.
And a lot of folks out.
Yes. Yeah. And the police that were keeping them close to the road, they wouldn't even let them on the property. They have all these orange cones, and they make them walk along the road.
Right.
Dangerous.
Yes, dangerous, yeah.
Yeah.
But, hey, they were out there.
Keep moving.
That's right.
Moving in that circle. And so they are still out there protesting until it's a done deal. Yeah. And nobody knows whether this is an ink yet.
No.
Hopefully
it
by
looks
tomorrow.
Pretty good, though.
It does. Looks really good.
Artie T is making, when he comes out and shakes people's hands, and we heard from an employee earlier today, Dan T, who called in, Dan the man.
Yep.
And he's expecting to get hired back. He's expecting to go in on Monday and get his hours back.
I hope so.
Yeah. So it looks good,
I hope so.
I think Noel Gordon said it best. We'll wait till Artie T officially tells us it's over. But I mean, I think we're very close to that. It sounds like from what the statements are coming out, we should expect that maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday, Tuesday. It's happening, hopefully.
Now, Noel Gordon's husband was fired. He was a manager, Tom Gordon.
Is he one of the 8? The original ones that were fired?
Yeah.
Or one of the ones after, but in that group, in the warehouse.
Oh, yeah, up on Dascom Road in Tewksbury. Yeah.
So Noelle has been hosting, she was hosting one page, and I
don't think she was actually hosting the other page, but something happened.
She was a moderator or something, and she got banned from the page when the other moderator came back.
We don't know what happened. There's a new one, though. It's Artie T United or something.
Yes.
Facebook page.
And you get all the lowdown from that page. By the way, Val had mentioned our Facebook page. We are Smoking in the Girls' Room on WEMF Radio. We are on Facebook, and the article that you had mentioned
from the LA Times
that you posted is up there, and everything you need to know.
I also wanted to say I didn't really know exactly how. I'm not a big grocery store person to look into the backstories of things, but I wanted to see how they kept their prices so low compared to Stop and Shop and Shaw's and our other local grocery stores. And this is what I found out, which I thought was very interesting, and also shows some of why these people are so loyal. As we said earlier, there's no debt. They don't have any debt for the stores. They keep it the corporate level very small. Even though they have 25,000 employees between Massachusetts, Maine, and New Hampshire, only 125 of them are up in the corporate office, which is amazing to me. So that's unbelievable. And there's only 6 grocery buyers for all of those stores. Like, who would have known, right?
Years and years and years. Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully they all get their jobs.
Yes,
exactly.
When we talk about Tom Trainer and all these Tom Gordon and all these other folks, hopefully they all get their jobs
back.
I mean,
it's amazing.
They will.
How could they not?
I know.
Go ahead, Matt.
So how would they not use this as a model of how to run a store in addition to what's been going on with, all the mess of Market Basket right now? They also they invest so much in their people. Their people, as we know, as we saw so many times on the TV, that people are there 40 years, 25 years, 35 years. They really believe in the longevity of people working for them. And when you have longevity like that, there's much less recruiting, much less training, so that you save dollars there.
Right.
They do a lot of promoting from within. And also they were saying that where these employees have been there so long, they know many sides to the business, not just one, where a lot of times businesses now train you just to do one thing. They know they can hop in where they need to. They've got an excellent profit sharing plan that even the part-timers can buy into, which is highly unusual. And all stores basically carry the same products, where other stores, say like Shaw's, will carry for the different locales that they're in, different products, but they buy pretty much all of the same products for their stores. And needless to say, they buy in huge bulk amounts because they go through everything so quickly.
Turnover.
They make their own products, don't they?
The Market Basket
They have their own brand too, and they've built really strong relationships, as we saw in the news too, with their suppliers. So the suppliers are very loyal to them. They're very loyal to their suppliers, which isn't typical in a larger chain either. And they also take care of most of their distribution, not all of it, but most of it. And most grocery store chains do not do that. That's how they can keep their prices quite low.
It's also too, from a vendor level, a lot of the other supermarkets charge shelf space. There's a lot of pay-to-play corporations. They don't do that. They're one of these companies that their whole goal, if you're doing business with them and they're selling your product, they're going to try to sell as much as they can for the lowest price possible. Volume, successful. They're not charging you a fee to sell. And that's why they keep the prices down. Shaw's buying that Jif peanut butter. Jif has to pay Shaw's a certain amount to have that on the shelf.
Lovely price on
I never knew that.
They pay for shelf placement on the eye level.
That is so sleazy.
Oh, there's
that's why prices are. I mean, I go into these other stores. I don't want to pay the price because I know they're gouging you.
So you have to look down to the bottom because that's where the cheapest is in a bigger store. It's always on the bottom shelf.
True on that, right?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, so good for them. So it seems like, I mean, please, I'm not anywhere near some person that has any view on this that makes sense compared to what they do, but it does seem like no matter what, they could still keep most of these things in place without really undoing everybody. So I'm really hoping it all works out for everybody, Artie T and all of his employees.
Yeah. And then another thing I thought of is these plazas that have the market baskets. What about the other businesses in those plazas?
Right.
Like liquor stores or clothing, any other.
I saw a liquor store that was giving away like a bottle of wine with so much money, you spend.
They've been ghost towns.
They're right next to Market Basket. They're hurting.
Here's the other component to that question. Is it true that Artie T owns his wife's real estate company, owns some of the properties that the Market Baskets are on?
That's part of the animosity inside the family, yes.
So they're losing money on their rentals, too, because the businesses that are renting from his wife's real estate company are probably unable to pay their rents at this point.
Who knows?
I mean, people go shopping, and I know I'm one of those shoppers. If I go to Market Basket, I'm going to pick up all my other stuff at the other stores
that are in
that plaza.
Right. Like I say, modern conveniences, we're spoiled.
We are spoiled, and we've learned that.
Yeah, with
we really have
not
learned
being
that.
around, very spoiled.
Do you think the prices will go up?
I don't.
I hope not.
I don't. I think they'll come in such droves that I think they'll be either the same or maybe even a little bit lower, especially in the beginning. I think people will just
open
just to get people back
exactly
back in. And
wasn't the 4% one of the issues that the board of directors had with Artie T, or at least they used that, the 4% discount as an excuse to fire him, which is crazy.
It is crazy. 4% of $33 billion, whatever that might be,
which isn't that much. I mean, it's just $33 billion. It might be up there, but
but to them, not much.
4% discount to me is a lot more meaningful than the 4% that they're losing.
Well, their prices were so low anyway. It wasn't just that 4% was just an added bonus on an already
right. I'd shop there anyways, even without the 4%.
Right,
doesn't matter.
Yeah. The prices,
and if the prices go up a little bit, and they can keep their employees well paid, and they can keep the Market Basket going, I think I'd be willing to pay a little bit more. If you're going to go to Stop and Shop, Hannaford's, or Shaw's, you're going to pay a lot more.
Yes, exactly.
So if Market Basket has to dig themselves out and raise the prices a little bit, I think pay a little more.
And
I would.
That was another thing that surprised me is I thought that these other stores, where I live anyway, I can't say I went out and ventured and did research on this all around the state or anything, but the Stop and Shops where I live in Haverhill, which I live within like 2 miles of 3 Market Baskets. Yeah. So I've had to go elsewhere, and I would think that these other grocery stores would take this opportunity to lower their prices.
Oh no!
To try to retain some of the people that said, "Hey, like, look what we did for you while you couldn't go to Market Basket. Stick with us." Nothing.
Not one gesture.
Too much debt. Too much.
They have too much debt.
You know, I don't buy that either. It's just a lack of. There's also just not giving back to the community. It's not just too much debt. They could have done something to lower their prices during this crisis, or given people a special break, or thought of some creative marketing.
Give a free item a week. Something where,
I mean, if they could retain, let's say, 10% of the customers that went to them in lieu of Market Basket, that would be a big bump in their revenue. I think that some people
will not go back to Market Basket because, like I've talked about before, grocery shopping is a habitual thing with people. It becomes part of your routine every week. If you get used to going someplace else and it's just easier for you to do that, then you might not ever go back to Market Basket.
Right. Yeah, that will be interesting to find out when this all comes to fruition, what will happen with that.
See, I have to disagree with that. I think that people will go back to Market Basket.
I am.
And I think people shop around. Like, I go to all the places. Like, but, my favorite place always is Market Basket. I think everyone's different, but I think most people will go back. If you spend a lot of money at Market Basket in the past, you'll be back.
And there's a deeper appreciation for it. Mm-hmm. And to add to that, in addition, I believe that with all of this publicity, that loyal Shaw's shoppers and Stop and Shop and
I didn't know it was cheaper over there.
Exactly. Because people have been listening to everybody, all of us whining, I spent too much on groceries this week. When's Market Basket going to be reopened? I think that, not reopened, but when's Artie T going to come back?
When the strike is over.
And I think that a lot of new customers are probably going to be walking through those doors of Market Basket.
Just to see what it's about. Yeah, even if it's just a curiosity, that's not like an issue-driven thing.
And you also, have people that wanted to support the workers, and they're hearing about all the worker stories, like that Meredith said, 40 years. Like, people have been working there for so long. Like, I kind of always knew that in the back of my mind, because I grew up with these folks that started at 16, and they're still working there. Right. But I didn't think about it like I do now.
Exactly, and I agree with you on that. I think that people look at this story and say, wow, these people are really dedicated. Let's see what it's all about.
Yeah, because in the recent years, the employees would wear the number of years on their badge. You go in there and you see Mildred, 36 years. Like, whoa, Mildred.
I always got the register with the 1-year employee. Every time I get in line.
1 week for Val.
Yeah, I've been there 1 week. I'm in that line. 3 hours later, I'm still waiting to get my stuff checked out.
Where's Mildred when you need her?
Well, New Englanders are very loyal, too. So I do agree with Val with the idea that a lot of folks that are just into their groove of shopping at another market are going to stay there. But on the other hand, New Englanders are also astute shoppers. If we feel that, or for the most part, if the majority here feel that we're helping a smaller business out, we're going to go there.
I agree.
We're going to stop shopping at Walmart once we find out what snakes they are, and how they treat their employees. The proof is in the pudding, no pun intended.
It's true, though.
The loyalty and the fact that so many people boycotted, basically shut down the market.
I was in there on a Saturday. There were about 5 cars in the parking lot. Normally on a Saturday, you can't even get a place to park.
Oh, I know.
And even on the Walmart situation, too, the people have been, I've been boycotting them for a while now because of the way that they treat their employees, and it has had an effect.
Yes, it has.
It really has. Their business is off the last couple of years. Walmart, for the first time, you look 2-3 years ago, Walmart was the king of retail. Now they're struggling.
People are more aware.
Yeah. And Market Basket, same thing. They way beyond the Walmart issue. Like you said, nobody is shopping at Market Basket for weeks.
And depending on what part of the state you're from, Mike and I grew up pretty much in the same town or one town over. But my parents went to Market Basket. Like, that's where, it was Demoulas back then. Yeah. Whereas the older ladies in the neighborhood would call it Demoulas.
Okay. Roast beef.
It was a Mildred. No, but it's like my parents went there. That's where I would go through the aisles with my mom as a kid. And then when I started doing my own shopping, it's like, I'm going to go there too.
Do you think that the governors getting involved had any influence on this at all? I'm curious.
I think so.
It seems like it shook it loose.
And I think so. And I think that the sad thing is that it took so long.
It took so long.
Governor DeVal Patrick sometimes is so cautious. Well, I think
private company. It's a private company.
I think they have a great influence. A lot of jobs at stake. The Attorney General going after the company. You have a lot of power. You have a bully pulpit. Look, they were involved in this, and I think that the governor should have gotten involved earlier. I think he's a good man. I think sometimes he doesn't react quick enough. He doesn't take these things as serious as they should have been taken. I think some of the candidates for governor would have actually done it differently. Like Evan Falchuk, I think he would have been right there involved in it. That's why I like him for governor. He would have been involved. I don't think Evan Falchuk. He came on our show. weeks back.
Is Deval Patrick's wife somehow, like her law firm represents?
Yeah.
There was a conflict of interest there. Or was there.
But I don't know if
he got involved.
Yeah, he said he didn't know about it. I'll take his word on it. Some of these conflict of interest, sometimes he may not have been aware of that. And even if he was, you can kind of recuse yourself, I think. And I don't think that was the issue. I just think that he is sometimes too cautious. Yeah. Too cautious.
Depends on his theme of the day. I totally agree with you. He waited way too long.
How do you believe that the governor would have, the governors, I should say, because Hassan was involved in this as well. How do you believe that they had an effect on
Because when they spoke, members of the board of directors reached out to them. You know, when you're on a level on a board of directors and you have major people on a certain level, who do they respect? They respect people that are on the same level as them. An outside party that is trying to not, take one side over the other.
They wanted to mediate.
Is going to have some influence and be able to mediate, especially when you know that this elected official has a lot at stake to get this done. They can influence, and I think they might have. I think they were involved.
Might have, and that's a key question. I feel the opposite way. I think that their presence brought about even more public pressure, but I think it was a combination of things. I don't know.
The straw that broke the camel's back, maybe?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. That is what I'm meaning.
But it was so late. It was really late that they came into the game and discussion.
But with a private company, really, how can they get involved? It's not a publicly held company.
Public pressure means a lot.
Right.
And that is the power when you're the governor of a state or the president of the United States that people overlook so often. It's just by speaking, just by standing up, just by being firm, the words you use mean a lot. And they will put pressure on someone in a board meeting, especially when it's this public, and I think it did influence them. So much so that they called the governor. They reached out to the governor. And that's when he came back
Some of the board members that don't have as many shares reached out to him, from what I understand. Yeah.
And that's when he said, you know what? I am going to readdress this. I am going to maybe get a little more involved. Because at first he said, no. I what can I do? Which I think is a cop-out when they say that stuff.
Agreed.
And then Elizabeth Warren got involved. I mean, it took her forever, too. But then again, she's a senator. There's a lot of people based on whatever party they supported started to become political. Social media pages controlled that to an extent because that creates division, and we saw that happening. I am an Elizabeth Warren supporter. I worked on her campaign. I voted for her. And I was pretty disappointed that she didn't come out and say something earlier, because people said, well, the union supported her and this isn't union. And to me, I'm in a union and our union did support her. I saw it more as a labor issue. I just figured, geez, she'll be all over this because it's a labor issue, not just specifically a union issue. So I was kind of disappointed that she shuffled her feet a little bit. She waited a long time. Yeah. And Hassan was all over it. I worked on her campaign, too.
New Hampshire Maggie Hassan.
Maggie Hassan, I'm so proud of her. She stood right up to this early on. It makes me kind of want to move to New Hampshire,
Real estate taxes.
We're talking about loyalty here.
Boredom up there, I'm sorry. Nice place to visit. I wouldn't want to live there. I did live there.
Cow Hampshire?
Yeah.
Cow Hampshire.
I did a political ad. I was a paid, I wouldn't say actress in it because I didn't really have any lines, but I played my mother was very upset with me because I was in Charlie Bass's commercials. I played Annie Custer, and I'm like, Ma, I'm just getting paid as a commercial job. I don't live in New Hampshire. I can't vote.
Further your career.
And then Annie Custer won. She beat Charlie Bass, who had held
Who is Charlie Bass? Because I'm not even sure I know.
Second congressional seat. He was there for like 20 years. Yeah. Oh, and my mother's like, what do you? And I'm like, I need the money.
And it was,
this is a confession, is it?
Annie Custer won. So I felt like I brought a humanity to her, my portrayal of her.
Yay, Ellen.
You were top secret on the other team?
Yeah.
With your portrayal?
Yeah.
Wow.
For those who don't know, Ellen Mosquetto, who was just talking about playing Annie Custer, she's a stand-up comedian. She does acting roles
sort of
as well. So
is this video on YouTube though?
Oh
my God, we have to find this. You have to put this on the
it's on our page.
They told me I go to auditions every so often, and I never get the parts. And then there was this one thing, it was just a picture based on my resemblance of having like the same color hair and glasses as this woman that got me this part. Like I didn't have to audition for it. So
you should post the link on our Facebook page. I want to see this.
I'll bring it up. They told me you have to do a bad tap dance. I'm like, that's all I can do.
There was a role made for you.
Yes,
exactly. I'm surprised we're not getting calls. Did you get calls? Did you talk about Market Basket?
It's Saturday night and it's gorgeous out.
Yeah, we got a couple calls. Yeah.
You got calls on Market Basket today, yeah. And our phone lines are slow.
Yeah. It's the end of the summer.
It's the end of the summer.
People are out enjoying it. Today was a wonderful day.
It's a beautiful
glorious
day. I'm sad to see summer going.
It feels like fall.
It does.
The leaves are changing.
This time of year, the end of August is usually the time.
Pipe down.
Magical thinking.
You start feeling that dry chill.
It's already feeling like that.
It does.
Yeah.
It's true.
Can we stop and just enjoy the summer?
Well, that's the great thing.
I love the fall. I mean, it's the best time in New England is the fall. But what comes afterwards is not so good.
The great thing about the Market Basket, this whole thing happened over the course of the summer.
So they could pick it.
They could pick it in the warm weather.
Instead of in the snow.
I have no doubt, though, that people would have been out in their snowsuits and boots with shovels protesting had this not.